In today's video, we are going to replace a set of shocks, rear shocks, on this van that's behind me here. I've already done the passenger side one. This is it. Here's the new one going in. I'm just going to illustrate how worn this shock was. I can pull this shock just like that, really very little pressure. Push it in like that. Our new one, so this shock wasn't really doing much. This shock absorber here, I really have to push down hard on it, and when I do, you can see it pushes back up. So this is a pretty straightforward job, not an expensive job either. These two shocks, this is early August 2016. They cost less than $70 for the two of them here in Canada. And as far as the job itself goes, it's just a bolt goes through here on the top, nut on the other side, and the same thing down below. Whenever I go to change a set of shocks out, one of the first things I do is compare the new ones that I was given to the old one that I just took out before I install anything. And we can see here basically the ends I like to look at, make sure that they're the same width. They are. We can see that the bushings, these rubber parts here, appear to be about the same width. So this looks basically like the correct shock. Raise and safely support your vehicle. I don't know if you can see in behind there, I have the jack. I left it in place. I jacked it under the axle. There's blocks in there that the weight is actually resting on, but the jack is there as fail-safe, and I always throw the tire that I took off underneath the body. I clean off the crud around the bolt. Lower bolt here, obviously. I'm going to get the other side, and once I get it all cleaned off with the wire brush, give it a spray with whatever lubricant you use. Personally, I use fluid film. I find it great. I don't do product placement, but I love this stuff. I'm going to give that a spray on the lower bolt, the nut over on that side, and I'll do the upper bolt and nut also. We want to remove the bottom bolt first. In this case, it's a 15mm. So I got my 15mm socket and my wrench on there, going lefty-loosey, counterclockwise to loosen, and I got an extender bar on here for a little leverage. Now I'm gonna have to, I've already loosened this off just by turning it like that. I always like to do that first. Now I'm gonna have to put a socket on the other side, or a wrench, and keep the other side from turning. Surprisingly enough, this didn't happen on the other side, but I don't actually have to hold that nut with another wrench, as we were talking about loosening it. And I was just noticing that as I did that, even without a wrench on the other side, if you look here, you'll see that that nut is not moving, so I don't need a wrench on it to keep it in place. Looks like that nut is gonna come out without me having to put the wrench on the other side. Pull that bottom bolt out of there. Oops, keep hitting that camera. Then this shock should pop out something like that. If not, grab a screwdriver or something. Watch out for that emergency brake cable there. The nut actually that I was talking about that was seized in place, just gave that a tap, and that came out no problem. The upper one was a whole nother story. The nut in back of here was actually seized and rusted all out. Any of my YouTube friends in cold climates can relate to that. So what I had to do there was I took my little trusty Dremel tool, ground off some flat edges, and had to use the vice grips to get a grip on that. So anyway, this nut is toast. Not going to go back on. Take your wire brush, clean all the crap and corruption off of the top there. We're going to place the top of the shock in place here first. See if I can do this without knocking my camera over. That might be a challenge. I'm going to slide this bolt through. I may not be able to videotape this. Let's see. I'd like to though. This is going to slide through pretty easy. Like so. I got to push it back a bit because I got to get my nut on the back of the thing here. I have that wrench in place. Got my socket on the front side of it there, set for righty-tighty. Just tighten that up. to hold that top of that shock in place. We're not going to tighten it right up yet. That's fine there. And we'll place the bottom of the shock. So I always get the bottom of the shock roughly in place, and I got an old scissor jack here, which I put underneath the shock. Just start to raise it a bit there. And I always take a screwdriver, my big old trusty screwdriver, as I raise the jack a little bit. Move that around. Looks like it might be lined up there. I take my bolt. Oh, I might have to jiggle that a little bit there. This one I'm going to take just my nut here. Put that on the other side. Tighten that up. Bottom of the shock is in place and all tightened up. We go back up to the top and tighten it right up now. Oops. Knocking my camera there. There we go. That's good enough for that. That's it for this video. The shocks have been installed. I'm going to put the wheel back on, take it for a test drive. Thanks for watching.